Hi, I'm Eva Eldelman. I'm originally from New York City. I have been doing art since I was a little girl. When I was really little, maybe 5 years old, I took some crayons, I think, maybe pastel, and drew on the walls all over my room. And I thought my dad was an artist too. And I thought my parents would be proud of me, but my mother, I could tell she was kind of mad, but she kept it in. They were really good parents, but yeah, they were appalled, I think, because they had to clean the wall, back in the 50s, they had to clean the walls, right? And it was crazy. But I've always done art, and I went to Music and Art High School, which was a great place. It was called the Castle on the Hill. So, yeah, that was wonderful. It was very good art education, better than I think you get, much better than occurred in my college, where I didn't take art because they were really bad. So, very creative teachers. So I've been doing art forever, really. And but every once in a while I would stop, take years of a break. I traveled when I was in my 20s, and I took one of those black notebooks, black books, and I'd draw on it and write a journal. Yeah, and then at one point I was in Toronto, and I had a studio, basically, where I lived, with high ceilings and big windows, and I did lots of paintings there. And then when I was ready to move, I carried like this gigantic mass of paintings with me back to New York, to my mom's house, right? So, yeah, and then I have always been, doing something with my hands and my eyes, but mostly painting. And when I lived in Eugene, I worked in a place where we were conducting art sessions for like workshops. It wasn't that formal, and it was great. Like people were from all different degrees of skill. Were doing art, and there were gigantic ceilings, so it was all over the walls, and that was really good. And everyone, like from people who were already artists to people who were just new to it, was very excited about the art. So, and now I have a lot of paintings in my house. So many, it makes it difficult to move. So anyway, that's my background. Okay, so this is my painting at New Zone. It's called Emergent. It's started from pain, devastation, like that black. I couldn't even, usually I'm much more smooth kind of lines and rhythmic, but this was like, okay. And then these faces emerged out of that, like coming into brightness, color, more happiness. But it's really hard to say what a painting's about. Like my paintings are kind of intuitive, psychic, you could say. And so I do the painting from what I feel, and then over time I learn what it was about. So this is called Emergent, emerging from that heavy, sorrowful feeling into something that has at least a little more energy and hope to it. So So that's the painting. And, there's a lot more in there, I think. And, anyway. Okay, well, this picture, which doesn't have a name yet, is kind of the next step away from that previous picture, because this is about hope and yellow hope. Anyway, and it is the same idea, like these spirits. That's often what's in my art, like just like who people are rather than what they look like in a way, So, and I often have different colors of faces, like not just brown, black, yellow, white, whatever, but yellow, red, green, blue, purple. That's kind of like people's spirits, maybe. You might say their aura, or just like what they're more like, it's kind of arrogant, their essence. But that's what sort of, I think, like the spirit comes out. And so, well, this isn't of any particular, well, sometimes it's not any particular people, but then I look at it, oh yeah, it's that person, right? So this is more hope, and I just thought it would be a good contrast to the other picture. Like, yes, you can be hopeful. So, okay. So my life is kind of divided between work as an artist, which has a little bit diminished lately, getting old, and work with people with mental health issues. So that situation I talked about earlier with the studio and all these people doing art, those were people who started a community over there for people who have had those issues, and it was totally run by and for those people. And I was the exception coming in. I was asked to come in. And I was asked because of my books. I wrote books, Natural Healing for Schizophrenia, and later Natural Healing for Bipolar Disorder, after I worked with them. And so that art group was those people, and it was very hopeful for them. It was like great, and it wasn't like when you're in the hospital and they have you make a lanyard or something. It was like really happy, like self-generated creative work. So anyway, that's the other aspect. So then I have a show, Brain Health and Healing, which is on hiatus now, but on the radio, KEPW 97.3, and we're probably going to start again with my friend. I have the show with my friend, and she's pretty dynamic, and we talk about nutrients and herbs that are extremely helpful for people. And my books has a million references, so even though I sound like a friendly, nice person, it's like well based on research by eminent physicians. So anyway, so art and healing, that's like what I'm about, kind of. And I love both of those things, those activities. I also have a podcast also called Brain Health and Healing, and that's available now. You could find that. So my website, borgebooks.com, you could get to my podcast from there. Borage, like in the beautiful blue-purple herb. So, yeah. So anyway, and I'm generally very oriented to colors. Like, I guess I sort of intellect in a way that just goes to my brain without seeing the color. I see the colors of different people, like what they call the aura, but I'm not exactly, let's say someone's blue-violet. I'm not exactly seeing blue-violet. I'm thinking they're blue-violet. It's kind of weird. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's my life. So colors and rhythm of art, and then knowledge of what's deep inside a person and what chemistry. It's actually chemistry that you could treat with nutrients and herbs. And so I'm really in tune to that. That's what I see in people too, like, oh, that person needs whatever. So yeah, that's what else I do. And I have children, and my daughter is an artist also. Probably the best of the family, like my dad and me, and then my daughter is a great artist. So, okay, so that's...